Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. And tonight we have a special guest.
Today Dad's gonna use my account to review 5-star Yipha.
Of course, the most important question of all is
she hot or not?
Well, she is the older sister of Mariel, so being that she's relatively holy and in the family of high priestesses, I'm not going to comment on her hotness. That being said, she definitely invokes a lot of salt and makes me hot under the collar, if you know what I mean. Anyways, she is a wind blunt user, and she is currently the only character in both Japan and global that creates blunt zone. So you can see her stats here at level 79. Average speed and grass stat, but I mean, as a priest/healer, I mean, she's got decent stats in both magic and physical attacking. So you can see her Valor chant, deploy the Roaring Bash stance, which is obviously blunt zone, and crit damage of all party members by 50% for one turn. So very, very similar to Mayunfa. The only difference, of course, being that she deploys Earth Zone, whereas Yipha deploys Blunt Zone. So these are the three moves we can go with, although she does have a pretty versatile kit. The first move is a power and in down by 20%, and in the blunt zone, it increases the debuff effect. So I don't know what the exact numbers would be. I would imagine it'd be either 25 or 30%. Either way, keep in mind that this is more of a spell as opposed to attacking, so it's a guaranteed debuff on a single enemy. So against some of the toughest bosses in the game, it is very, very useful and helps you prevent a lot of damage and mitigate some damage there. Now, she does have a regen/healing move, large regen 3 turns, and physical resistance and type resistance up by 25%, as well as restore all statuses. So this can also be very useful in a prolonged fight against bosses, being that she does have physical and type resistance up by 25%. One thing to remember is that with zone deployers, in this case blunt zone, it reduces damage incoming by other types of damage by 30% while increasing blunt damage by 30%. So it in itself is already defensive. Now this move is a AoE medium and inflicts stun, so very good for crowd control, not too expensive in terms of MP. Being that she is kind of a mace user, she has decent amounts of MP, but again, in a very prolonged fight, of course, all the more expensive spells and moves are going to eat up her MP like no tomorrow. And these are one of her two specialized moves. So this one is excellent. Speed plus 30%, type attack plus 30% for 3 moves, and during her blunt zone, it actually increases to 5 moves. So you can imagine, 30% increase in speed allows more hits during the AF, and when you're in blunt zone, 5 turns of 30% increased damage. Keep in mind, this is increased type attack. So this is additive to elemental boosts, such that, if you have someone that says increase all wind damage by 25% or 50%, for example, high wind booster, it is additive and will not have diminishing return. So very, very useful. And of course, her Goth Mallet. This is the one that you'll be spamming in AF as well as usual attacks. Wind Blunt AoE. And Blunt Resistance -30, 3 turns stackable. And so that would be 30, 45, and 60. That means all your blunt user increased damage by 60% against the enemy, and increased damage with max HP. That is actually double damage, and I'll show you that a little bit later in this video. And then during blunt zone, crit rate of all party members guaranteed to 100%. So you can imagine, I mean, just like all zone users, and for those who have Mayunfa, you know the power of that when guaranteed all crit rate to 100%, all your most powerful moves are just guaranteeing hit after hit after hit at millions and millions in damage. All zone setters are very powerful, and she is no exception. So this is her 5-star board, and you can see her 2 5-star moves. And I'll just show the rest of the board here. Note that she is not a cat lover. She is clergy and hammer. Okay, and being that my son has not unlocked Grasta after chapter 55, he has no access to that. So let's check her out for a spin. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So let's just lurk around Purgatory here and demonstrate some of the power of her moves. Now, bear in mind that obviously this particular mob is resistant to blunt, so we can't do nearly as much damage. And as you can clearly see there, the first hit was, 8,000-ish, and it got reduced to about 4,000 now that she's not at full HP. So very, very important to note that. And during AF, especially if you can do a 2-turn AF, hopefully she doesn't get hit, then she'll have that multiplier in place doing mega damage. Now, in one of my earlier videos, I did talk about pulling for units that have and serve multiple uses. I will say in the case of my son's account, a lot of content was actually locked away from him just because he couldn't generate enough damage, and he has no Grasta, of course, being that he has no access to that yet. With the advent of him pulling Yipha, we were able to beat actually a lot of Manifest level 10 battles. Now, I won't show you all of them, although I will demonstrate one of them for you at level 10 later on in this video as well. And so, a caution to all those who want to pull for, very powerful units. Make sure they do multiple uses in terms of this one: healing, zone, damage mitigation with debuffs, as well as enhancing even weaker characters on your team. Okay, so we're just going to demonstrate her healing move. Remember that's a regen, so it's not the greatest, but don't forget it still is type and physical resistance up 25%, and being that they are two different buffs, if someone is attacking you with an elemental attack, you essentially will be protected by 50%, right? 25 from the physical portion, and additional 25 from the type portion. And again, in blunt zone, if they are using any attack other than blunt, you're going to be mitigated additional damage. So that's great. Okay, so this is going to be the level 10 rematch against Azami. And again, bear in mind that in this particular battle, we are actually using a 4-star Amy. Mariel is only there to switch in because she has high natural speed, so we'll switch in Yipha to guarantee the second turn AF. As well, Felmina here does not have her manifest weapon equipped right now, although we did beat that particular manifest battle fairly easily with a similar team. So there we go. This will mitigate damage by 30% from Azami. However, her first turn is only a debuff by int. We are all physical attackers, so that int debuff is not really going to affect us too much. And here we are. We're going to set up our 2-turn AF. Bear in mind that we don't have the manifest weapon, so we're not doing nearly as much damage. And I will say, after recording this entire video, I realized that I had substituted High Wind Booster on the far left slot with Media Ran because I needed healing at one point for some other battles for my son. I was helping him because, like I said before in yesterday, he doesn't play that much, and he was really disillusioned until he got all these 5 stars. So, we were kind of showing him how to beat some of the tougher battles. And so I was kind of setting up his moveset, and I had removed High Wind Booster. So keep in mind, with High Wind Booster, all those units would have been boosted in damage by 50% as well, being this is his entire wind team. And you can clearly see that using a couple of free characters and even using non-Grasted as a 4-star, you can beat content here. So that's what I mean by, when you want to pull for a unit, you want to make sure that that really adds a lot to your team. And I will say that as I was doing some of this gameplay, I am insanely jealous of my son because, having this unit on my team would really enhance the versatility. It's not that I can't beat a lot of the content, it's just that it opens up a lot of different team combinations. Now, look at this team combination. Normally, you can't mix wind and earth, and I do realize Serene is resistant to earth, but we're going to use Lokito's Manifest to boost Fist users by 50% damage to really enhance Felmina's with Manifest now to do as much damage as possible. And again, we're going to just do the 2-turn AF just to kind of show some of the numbers out there. Keep in mind, I didn't use High Wind Booster as well in this portion of the video. So multiply Felmina's damage by 1.5 and you'll see the true numbers we can get again without Grasta. So because of the guaranteed crit and the extra 50% crit damage because of the VC from Yipha, you are hitting for 2.78 times 3. That's 8 million damage, again, of course, against weak enemies, but you got that 3 stacks of blunt resistance down, you got the physical resistance down, stackable because of Tricataclysm's obviously manifested moves, and This is another reason that they do rate Felmina as one of the top wind DPS in the game, even outranking my waifu Suzette or AS Suzette. I mean, I don't even think I can generate those numbers at this moment. So in conclusion, I highly recommend you pulling for Yipha, especially if you're missing multiple zones. She can really allow you to mix and match the best blunt users in the game, and even in the case of Morgana, his Miracle Punch does count as a blunt move, so it will still maintain the AF bar. As well, she can't really function well as a healer, although she is great as a support. Again, mitigating damage with power into debuffs, guaranteeing type resistant type damage up, and obviously giving 100% crit rate to everyone on your team. And so, you can use Dewey, you can use Felmina, Serene, don't forget, with Manifest, and mixes very well with Felmina's guaranteed pain as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.